Hello, today I'm going to talk about driving with Asperger's syndrome, or should I say autism, because people don't get diagnosed with Asperger's anymore. I learned that yesterday. uh, so I have done another video about driving, but that was like my experience in general with driving. And this one is going to be about things that I've struggled with that are Asperger's specific. So the first one is multitasking, and I can't really pinpoint any examples of this because you literally have to multitask all the time while you're driving. So this does make it difficult because you've got to constantly check your mirrors and everything, check round the car, check your surroundings, be aware of any road signs, change of speed, changing gear, and a lot of that you have to do at the same time or around the same time, and it can get very confusing and a bit much. But generally speaking, you do get used to this. It did take me a long time to get used to it, but you do. But it is still quite difficult to kind of remember to do all those things at the same time and safely. You'll have to excuse me, I've got like a blocked ear and it's been blocked since I went in the shower this morning, and it's affecting my concentration a lot. I don't know if it's a build-up of wax or whatever, but yeah. So the second thing is reading other drivers' intentions, if you know what I mean. So like, for example, when you're approaching a roundabout and there's cars on the roundabout, you have to not only check to see where they are in the lane, but it also helps to look at where the wheels are turning, where the wheels are facing, sorry. So and that would indicate where they're going to turn off. So, and also their body language and gestures and stuff, not just on roundabouts, like anywhere. You have to be quite, you have to know road etiquette, that's what I'm trying to say. And for somebody that, isn't that clued up on etiquette in general, it is very difficult to then learn more etiquette for a different situation. It is something that you do get used to, but it is something that I struggle with, and I probably always will struggle with. And even when there's road signs and stuff, like I still get confused about, when I give way or when it's the other person's turn to give way. So on one of my tests, even though it was my right of way, I still gave way to somebody because I just didn't, I panicked. I think a lot of it was panicking, but I didn't kind of have time to process what was going on. And I think that's another thing that people with Asperger's struggle with learning to drive, is the fact that you have to be quick on the mark. Like, you have to think on the spot constantly. Like, there is no time to assess a situation and then act on it. You have to do everything very quickly, which is why I found the theory test incredibly easy, because I just revised and practically memorised all the questions, and the hazard perception test. So, and on the hazard perception test, you do get time to think about what's a hazard and all that. But on the road, you don't get time to do that. You are literally just like, what do we do now? What do I do now? What do I do now? Like, it's just constant, non-stop. And, particularly in areas where there's a lot going on, like, let's say, roadworks and big roundabouts and that, and I don't know, like stressful driving situations, it is very difficult to navigate your way around things safely and quickly. Another thing is, well, for me anyway, road signs. Um, And you know, when I get a car, because I'm saving up to get a car now because I passed my test and that finally. But when I get a car, I'm gonna have to try to look out for road signs, because when I was learning to drive, there was a lot of times where I just forgot to look at the road signs, and that sounds really bad. But if you think about it, like, because there's so much stuff going on at the same time, like, I always felt like I was missing something out. You know, whether that be checking all my mirrors or putting it into the right gear or whatever. Or yeah, like checking road signs. Like, there's always something that I forgot to do, because there's that much going on, and you know, there's only so much information that your brain can process before it goes, you know. So yeah, road signs is a massively important thing. And I've got a really bad habit of just looking at the road and seeing what's happening on the road. And you know, if there's like a road closed ahead sign ahead, then I wouldn't acknowledge that, and then get to the end of the lane and think, shit, I should have you know, gone through to the right lane because this lane's closing now. Or speed changes. Luckily, I don't think I've ever speeded. You know, maybe like a couple of mph, but I mean, like, you know, proper speeded. But speed signs, again, something else. Like, I've gone 30 on 60 roads and stuff like that. But I think that's something that I will get used to as I become a more experienced driver. You know, as of yet, I don't have a car yet, and I've only just passed my test, so I've not really got that experience. And most people have said to me that you do learn how to drive after you pass your test. The next thing is getting distracted. And by getting distracted, I mean by dogs on the street, people doing stuff, what other people are doing on the road. I get distracted so easily, and I don't know if that's an Asperger's thing or an ADD thing. I think it's an ADD thing, but yeah, I have a massive problem with being distracted. And you know, sometimes I'll sit there in the car and my mind will just wander off, and then, you know, like if I'm sat waiting for the traffic to move, and then I'll just come back down to earth and think, okay, what have I been doing for the past like 2 minutes? Which is something that I need to work on again, because I can't be doing that on the road. It's very dangerous, but you know, I can't help that. That's something that I've just got to like roll with. I think a lot of people with Asperger's seem to find driving quite easy, because the people that I've spoke to that have like had an interest in cars and stuff, they seem to have found it a lot easier than what I have. And then there's other people with autism like me that didn't really know anything about cars when they started driving, and they just wanted to learn, and because it's something that I didn't understand, I think that's one of the reasons why it did take me a lot longer than I'd planned to pass, because I have to know how everything works fully before I can understand something and be able to do it. So, you know, and it took me a long time to get my head around how everything works and why things are set up the way that they are set up, despite having instructors you know, explain it to me over and over again. Like, it just didn't go in. So I think that's another reason why it's taken me so long to do it. But another thing that I'd say is, if you don't understand something, get your instructor to write it down for you, or do your diagram. And I mean, I've written down mirror sequences and stuff like that when I've got in from a driving lesson because I just can't get my head around it, and I needed to memorize it like I did the theory test, and it did help. And also YouTube videos. If you watch YouTube videos of people driving and going through what they're doing, like there's some really good videos, some UK ones that I've watched. And I watched a lot of videos about roundabouts, because roundabouts was something that I just did not understand at all. And now, looking back, it seems really stupid, because obviously if you're going to turn right, you go in the right-hand lane. If you're going to turn left, go in the left-hand lane. If you go straight on, usually left-hand lane, unless there's a middle lane. Simple. But it took me about a year to get my head around it. So, yeah. Feel a bit stupid now for that, but at the end of the day, everybody learns different, don't they? And it's nobody's fault. That's just the way it is. And unfortunately, driving in the UK, it's a very, well, I don't know what it's like in other countries because I've not learned in other countries, but it's a very one-size-fits-all thing. And if you don't learn the way everybody is taught, then you're going to struggle. And that's what happened to me. But all in all, I'd say if you want to learn to drive, just go for it. Because if I can do it, anybody can. I honestly thought that I would never be able to drive, because I've had four instructors. I've taken my test 5 times, passed on the 5th time, and learnt to drive in 2 different cities, or areas of the UK, should I say. I don't even want to know how much it's cost me. We'll not go into that, but it is thousands over the past few years. And now obviously there's the expense of the car and insurance and road tax and everything. Yay! But you know, like, I'm looking forward to being independent now, and then, you know, the next step is starting my business and stuff, because I needed to drive to do that, or, you know, whatever. So it is worth doing. It is worth doing a lot, and especially if you live in an area like me where the public transport system is shit, and expensive. Like, you might as well start learning to drive, because it's just a really useful thing to have. So don't let it put you off just because you're autistic. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope this has been helpful. Please share your experiences below. If you've got anything to add. I've probably missed stuff off because I'm very tired today. I did a speech at Sheffield University yesterday about autism, so I'm still kind of with that, and I've got training later for work as well. So, but yeah, that's all from me. Have a nice day, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.